Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Gameweek 2's episode of FPL BlackBox. The season has started. Hope you all had a good week. Andy and I sitting pretty in the 2 to 3 million mark with exactly the same points. bit disgusting, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a little bit. I mean, we were talking at Fest, weren't we? And we had to discuss the differences in our teams, and there was only two.
On stage, I know. Yeah.
But this happens. First game week of the season. It doesn't mean we had the exact same team. It means we got the exact same points, which is very different.
Yep. Did you have a nice time at Fest?
I had a lovely time, thank you. I had a really lovely time. I only saw you for 10, 15 minutes, which I think helped. But no, we had a lovely time. My highlight was looking over and seeing you playing chess at one point.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is a banging evening.
Had your lovely missus sat next to me asking lots of questions, taking a real interest in the game, and eventually saw me win.
She was actually your fangirl at one point because she just had the fan on you, yeah.
Yeah, she was. Yeah, that was. I think it was the fan actually that saw me to victory in that game. So
really,
I owe her a lot of thanks. Yeah. Big shout out to Janny Ned for Fest. Hopefully a lot of you in the chat came. I think it was by far the best one that I've been to. Just they got everything right this time, didn't they? You know, the venue was excellent. The not getting kicked out straight after the football.
Yeah, that was good.
Actually having the football on, which always makes me laugh. That once upon a time they didn't have that, but. Yeah,
no, it was really good. I'd always recommend people to go. And there's so many people that go that were coming up to me that night saying, I came here alone and I was really worried, but I didn't have to be. Like, everybody wants to chat and it's just great. If you like fantasy football and you're ever around London or you can get there, it's such a good way to start the season, isn't it?
It is, yeah. And I think that's my favourite bit of Fest. I remember the first one I went to when there was, it wasn't as popular now as it was then, because obviously it was the first one. And I remember seeing people just sat on their own at the start. And then within about 30 minutes, 35 minutes, they're all just in a group chatting, showing each other their teams. Yeah, really good event. Really good event. And well done to the organisers. Lots to talk about today. Andy, not the easiest stream to do because we've got one game week's worth of data. I've been setting up all the tables in Mark's absence. You spotted an error just before we came on, which I'm very happy about after spending, hours and hours getting everything done. But no, things are sorted, and next week we'll be back to the normal tables. We've got a bit of a streamlined stats episode this time out. But how was Game Week 1 for you? Generally, we did all right,
actually. It was all right. To be fair, I thought I was going to have a really good week until Thiago scored. Thiago scoring was the one that hurt me the most out of everything, really. So I had Salah and Wirtz first game, and obviously we saw Kirkes and Frimpong go off before 60, which was crazy, really. We saw
Frimpong
Van
on
Dijk,
59, wasn't it?
Both of them weren't they? Went off together, didn't they?
Went off together, yeah.
Yeah, but Frimpong it wasn't tactical. It was more of a rest him, because obviously they didn't have Bradley on the bench either. But Wirtz was disappointing, I thought. Only 2 points. Obviously, Salah got the late goal, which helped, especially considering Haaland smashed it as well. But no, I was pretty happy. I was pretty happy that Aït-Nouri and Reijnders weren't originally in my team, say, a week ago. So that obviously helped a bit. Pedro was the two things that disappointed me the most, probably I would say, were Pedro and Palmer. Who Pedro in particular, I'm wondering whether I made a mistake going for him. And then it's Sells and Murillo, because I was watching that game and I didn't think Brentford were very good, and then Thiago, who was obviously quite a popular pick because he was only 6 million. He was on penalties, got the penalty, scored against my double defence. So I would very much take 60 points. I think top 3 mil after one game week. For a game week rank, top 3 mil is absolutely fine. So yeah, I'm happy with how my team's set up. I'm very, very happy I've got Reijnders and Anderson. I think a lot of people are going to be going for 5.5 soon. So I'm actually very happy with that. And Aït-Nouri, 9 points off him. We were both in the lovely Ran train, weren't we?
We were, and I mean, there's not even that much point in me showing everyone my team because it's pretty much the same as yours. Like you mentioned, the only two differences really between our teams are Milenkovic versus Murillo, and then I've got Jorginho Rutter, or Rutter as I learned is actually pronounced. I'll stop trying to give him some weird French tinge. It is Rutter, and that was about it. Yeah, I feel the same as you. João Pedro obviously feels like a mistake, but I mean, a lot of the 7-5 options didn't do well, did they? Mateta, Evan Nielsen, but Wood obviously went off. I had Wood in a lot of my drafts this pre-season, which was very annoying, and Sanchez keeping the clean sheet was also very annoying, especially because that was harsh when they're ruling out That is a goal.
And he got the extra bonus point as well at the end, didn't he? At the end of the week, so he went up to 8 in the end. But it's those little things, though, isn't it? You worry so much, moving into the first game week, and it's those little things that can sometimes be the difference. Sells instead of Sanchez, Pedro instead of Wood, and all of a sudden we could have been on 80 odd points. But I still think you must be quite happy with 60.
Oh yeah, I'm very happy, and you know what? I'm trying not to moan, even though we all like a bit of a moan, because really, Reijnders is someone that I think a lot of people are going to have to make moves for this week. If you haven't got him, he's already risen in price. Yeah. People have already used a transfer getting him in. I'm really, really happy with Aït-Nouri because I think he proved that he can fit into whatever system Pep wants to play. I didn't know he was so good or would be so good at sort of tucking in and playing as almost like left-sided centre-back. And I thought he was absolutely excellent. I went with Porro, who did well. Spurs kept the clean sheet. They've got good fixtures to come. Jorginho got the assist. Yeah, do you know what? I think in terms of starts, I know a lot of players hauled that I didn't have, but I'm really happy with 60. So yeah, and all good.
Seeing a lot of weird stuff as well in the community about game week 1 ranks and all this kind of stuff, and it's like people are saying, they're ruined if they don't have a set. Literally, game week 1 by game week 2, game week 3, it'll all move all over the place again anyway. So as long as you're happy with your team, I think game week 1's it's so minimal how much it matters. And I think you've said it before. None of us are going to win FPL, so I think it's absolutely fine. I think
think for yourself. I'm on the charge this year.
Oh, okay, all right, cool. But I think all this fuss about game week 1 ranks, it is literally a game week rank. And we were saying on Scoutcast last night, if you finished top 3 million every single game week, you'd win FPL basically, because that is an incredible score every week to keep getting. So yeah, I think it's fine.
Yep, good, nice positive words. So what you're saying is we're on track to win FPL. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Just 3 million ranks every week.
And I will win it based on alphabetical, which is quite nice.
I'm not totally sure that's
unlucky with the Z. Unlucky with the Z.
If we make the same moves every week, then it'll have to come down to some weird thing like that, won't we? Yeah. Great. I should say hello to everyone in the chat. Thank you all for tuning in. Let us know how you got on in game week 1. Nigel Gormley got 86 points with no Haaland or Salah. That's pretty good going, isn't it? Nice. 86 points. Wow. Reijn, I might or might not be on a wild card after a 67-point game week. Palmer out, Haaland in. The knees are jerking. We're going to be talking about Palmer and Pedro as we go through. Mahomie says Pedro will drop if he doesn't score on Friday. I think you're probably right, given his ownership.
And he's playing Friday.
We need something from him. CH says Andy could do with some lighting tips from Az.
Some lighting tips.
Oh. You are a bit grey, but you're a bit of a grey person anyway. So
give me a second.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
God.
Oh God! Now look at it shining off my head. I'm not sure about that.
That made absolutely no difference, and he just gave me a really weird smile. So best of every world.
There you
best
go.
of every world, really.
Got light coming from everywhere now.
We're going to talk great and the good in a sec, so you can see everyone's really important Gaming 1 ranks. Before we do that, no, we're not going to talk Manscaped. They're not sponsoring us for the moment. Got to stop showing that screen. They're getting a free plug. I am going to plug Trevor Thompson, who is our amazing designer. So you're going to see some of the new tables and things tonight. Obviously, we've talked about him a lot pre-season, all the work that's been done behind the scenes on the thumbnails, the graphics, the fonts, the Instagram covers, everything that is the new Black Box theme is all down to Trevor. I just want to give a big thank you to him. If you are in the market for a graphic designer, whether you're thinking of starting a YouTube channel, if you've got a business that needs some graphics, whether you can make a recommendation to one of your friends that might need one, give him a shout, trevorthompsondesigner@gmail.com. That's Trevor Thompson, THOMPSON designer. And yeah, I can honestly say, great person to work with, really happy with everything he put together. And yeah, I strongly suggest you give him a look. So thank you, Trevor. We really appreciate all the work that you did. Right, I'm not going to go to Manscaped now. I'm going to go to the great and the good, because look at this. I mean, the only reason we're showing it is because you've got Az at the top. Not sure why. I think it's quite generous from Greyhead to put
I know
top.
why.
Why?
It's because you've been in it longer, apparently.
Oh, wow. That is
disgusting.
That is a real... Yeah, okay. Andy North in second, and Mr. Luke Williams, who went with a very, very different team to ours, in third. If this continues all season, Andy, then I think Black Box is definitely on the rise.
Oh, my God. It's lovely, isn't it? And I just looking at that, and also Mark Southern's look, leaves BlackBox, can't even get top half anymore.
I know, terrible.
And he knows all the results before they happen. So
I
don't how
know,
that's happened.
You wait till you get some dodgy assists.
Yeah,
I saw some already, and there was one. It was Rice's assist. I think someone in our group chat, in the BlackBox group chat, said, "Oh, I don't understand why that's an assist and all that." And I was like, "That because he kind of flapped it, didn't he? Bender flapped at it and it went in." But I think that would probably be an assist under regular rules, right?
Yeah, probably. I would have thought
kind of
so.
coming in and intended target and all that. Yeah.
But it's we'll take that, won't we? Top 3.
Yeah, we'll take it. I mean,
Done.
one thing that is interesting here is, I mean, look at the captains. I mean, General is the only one without Salah out of all of us.
Yeah.
He went for Palmer. Obviously, not a great start for him. We'll take a bit of a look at the captaincy matrix in a bit. The Haaland Salah, it's hard to know where else to go because he's going to be risking it each week, right? Backing against those two.
And also, a few of these people would have had, say, Saka, Gyökeres might have started with as well. And obviously, they've got potentially the chance to have a big week this week. So it's all, things can change so quickly. And the other thing, based on what we were saying just now about Game Week 1 ranks, you've got people that are 5 points behind me and Az that are, 1.4 million more in rank. So it means so little right now.
Well, Price tweeted, didn't he, and said he's not even going to talk about his rank until Game Week 19.
Yeah.
That's a long time away.
It's a long time. I mean, obviously, where is he at the moment? So 53 points is fine as well, isn't it? Like, I think that's absolutely fine. But yeah, there is no real point to look in apart from the fact that we want to post it so people can see how we're getting on, basically. But this is probably the weirdest one start from the great and the good in terms of nobody's come out the blocks and absolutely smashed it first week. Usually there's somebody that's kind of top, I don't know, 200k or something after 1 week. So it's interesting seeing everybody there. And I suppose a few people maybe didn't have the weeks they wanted to. But I mean, Fabio Borges, 48 down there. But like I said, 2 or 3 weeks, this will be all over the place again.
I mean, Greyhead also did us like a template rating. I think everyone had in and around the same template rating as well, which this is a new thing I want to do for. Oh no, you're not supposed to see all of these. That ruins the surprise. We're going to go through each one so you don't know what's coming. So a new thing I want to bring into BlackBox is just an overall talking point about the game week and things that we want to mention. Obviously, we do that as we go through as well, but a bit of a roundup at the start. First thing I want to talk about was the rise of the robots, the rise of AI. I think we are seeing now more people becoming aware that people are using models more. People have always known reviews out there, Solios around Hub AI. I mean, you can't escape the adverts for that site. Obviously, Scout have got Rate My Team, which was one of the first ones. But people are using them more. People are more aware of them. I think people's teams are genuinely more similar now. We saw 2 very popular content creators with 15 out of 15 of the same teams, and I think it's not ridiculous to say that would have been heavily influenced by models. You look at us; we play the game a very different way. We're not. Well, we claim, obviously we're just copying it exactly, but we claim that we're not influenced by the models. And just off our own backs, we ended up with 12, 13, 15 of the same players. So what do you think is going on? I mean, how do you feel about that? Like people's teams getting closer, people copying people like Harry, AI tools, all that stuff.
The Harry one is probably going to be the one that's going to worry us the most because I think, was it 5,000 people copied his team?
Copied his team, exactly, yeah.
And Harry does really well every year. So if there are 5,000 people
Harrys
copying him, then we're not getting top 5k. Because if Harry finishes really high again, then top 10k is ridiculous. And
he's due a bad season, surely.
Oh, God, yeah, you'd hope so with 5,000 people copying him now. But I guess what I'm seeing, and I'm trying to be very impartial about it, is that people don't want to start badly. People don't want to, after 5 game weeks, be 7-8 million and then have to climb up because obviously it's a lot harder after that. And I think that's what we're seeing. People are trying to stay as close to the average as possible and make sure they haven't ruined their seasons after 5-6 game weeks, basically. And the thing is, I suppose, what's kind of happening, because there has been a lot of criticism about content creators and they have to finish well. If not, that they're not, why are we watching them and things like that. And what it actually does is probably put some of those content creators trying to not have a bad start, so they end up going the same way as everybody else.
Yeah.
And I think that's maybe what we're seeing a little bit as well, is that people are now quite scared to have bad starts. And I mean, like you said, we don't really use them as a lot of people do, but I do think it takes something away. I know we talk to Luke about it a lot, don't we? And we say that there are certain people that obviously do use them a lot and they do very well out of it. But it's not how I want to play. People can play however they want, but it does take something away from it, I think. And I don't really know how you can argue against that personally, but it is what it is. It's there, and it's a tool that people are going to use, and we've just obviously got to try and find our edge away from it, I guess.
I had some really good chats with Luke, and I think that's one of the good things about the three of us being on, because he is, he is like very much in that sphere now where he uses it, and you could see with something. He went triple Spurs. I couldn't, there wasn't any triple Spurs defense. In fact, there wasn't any. I wasn't seeing that called for massively on models. I know 2 was. He went the extra mile. That's typical Luke. He'll use things and take it to the next degree. But what he does talk about is how really like we think there's all this choice and all these players and this massive pool of players, 200-300 players, but really there's probably about 30 picks that we're all considering at the start of the season, and it's not too surprising to see a lot of the same picks entering into people's teams, right? Yeah. And what the models do a very good job of is, like he said, they take away that noise. They show you, unbiased good options that are probably going to do well. And I can see, based on exactly what you said, why people would think I'm just going to go with the safe, trusted, reliable sets. And I mean, look at me talking about Forest. 7 clean sheets, 1 goal scored. Yeah. Luke was saying, forget all that. It's pre-season. Forget all the noise. Blah blah blah. Wood goes and scores a brace, and Forest concede in the first game. So it's effective. Like the models are effective, but I do agree that I still think it is taking away from the game. And actually, it was really good at Fest, because you saw people at Fest who are still pushing away from model stuff. And some of the picks people were going with. I mean, there was like a Semenyo captain, I think, there. I suppose, loads of Gakpos, Ekatikes, who we weren't even really considering.
Yeah, no, and it's one of those things as well. Like, I'm seeing a lot of, again, looking at kind of Game Week 1 ranks and things like that. Back when I used to play Chatman, and obviously Chatman, when they used to bring up the data for Chatman and say, this is who's going to do well, they would do 100 simulations of that game week, and then they would give you the most likely things that are going to happen based on those 100 simulations, which is basically what this is all doing, isn't it? Like constantly just telling you what is the most likely result going to be. But we had it once in Chatman where, you might remember this as well, where they leaked what happened and then they had to run the simulation again. So what happened? Yeah. So what actually happened didn't happen in the second one, and that's literally what happens. You could literally say it's going to happen 999 times of 1,000, and the 1 week we get is the odd one that is obviously different, and we can't say what's going to happen. So it's just how it happens. And as long as you can ride with it, and as long as you set your team up well enough to adapt to things that are happening, and don't maybe adapt too quickly sometimes, I think it's all right. But yeah, it's something that is there, and it's developing more as well. There's now Review, there's now Solio, there's now Luke's mate, Apocalypse, who did his own one as well. So there's more now as well, and they're all saying different things. So I think just pick how you want to play, and it's fine. But it does take something away from it a little bit for me, I think.
That's where I'm at. I still think it takes something away, but I also think we need to use the tools a little bit, because they are so good at helping us make these decisions. And I think what, like a few people are saying in the chat, I think the idea is that models do take a bit of a time to adapt to new things that have happened. So once we've got a few weeks of data and a few matches, the idea is that we can then use our the opinions we've drawn to then get ahead of things that are happening on the model. So
minutes are usually the thing that the models tend to struggle to adapt to as well, is guessing the X minutes of players as well. So if you feel like a player is going to play more or play less, that's a really good way of kind of adapting it and changing it and kind of trying to beat it if you can. But they are very, very good. That's the other thing. Like, they put a lot of effort into it.
Embos, I went with Marmouche against the data. How good was that for me?
Exactly.
Yeah, I know. It does hurt when you get those wrong. Cool. Okay, second talking point. Moving on to actual football matters. We've got this absolutely batshit statement, I thought, from Isak about his treatment of Newcastle. It seems that he was promised a new contract. The director of football left the club and he didn't get that, and he was promised a move, and obviously that hasn't materialised because they haven't met the valuation. And now he's tweeted out, deleted all his socials about Newcastle, which I think is just absolutely pathetic. And I spoke about it on Twitter earlier. And obviously Newcastle have replied and said they haven't broken any promises. It's a mess, isn't it? What's going to happen? What happens now?
Well, based on what we're seeing at the moment, I don't think he moves. Which I said at the beginning, didn't I? Do you remember 3-4 weeks ago I said he'd move? Because
don't you start.
I know, and I don't think he moves now. I think.
Oh, sorry, no, you said he would move. Yeah,
I did say he would. Yeah.
I thought you were trying to say, you always said he was never going to move. Yeah.
I think fair play. It's really weird. The only people I've seen that have been backing Isak up are Liverpool fans.
Yeah. Funny that, forgetting Trent already, right? Trent the Snake.
Yeah, but I'm looking at it and thinking it doesn't look like he's going to move. I don't think Newcastle are doing too much wrong from what I've seen. He's got 3 years left on his contract. He's basically said, we said you can move as long as the valuation is there, as long as we can sign someone in return. It's just hilarious that Wirtz is doing the exact same thing to try and move to Newcastle. And obviously that's not working either. So it's a shame for FPL. That's the one thing I will say, because you want players like Isak in FPL, and Isak not being in FPL at the moment makes Ekitike even more an opportunity to go for. So it is a massive shame. I don't know which way it's going to go now. I don't know whether Liverpool are going to go up to what is expected from Newcastle. So if that's the case, that means Isak's kind of out until at least January in our thoughts, unless he manages to go back and say, sorry guys, can I play again?
Yeah.
But again, if he doesn't, and Newcastle don't sign another striker, Anthony Gordon up top on pens. Lovely stuff.
It's obviously a combination of things, isn't it? It's a combination of the contract, which didn't materialise, the bid not being quite there, Liverpool obviously signing Ekitike, the fact they haven't been able to bring in a new striker, this Vissa saga carrying on for so long. I mean, Ace Adventura says, if I don't come to work, I don't get paid. Bad look to players on obscene money moaning. I think that's why a lot of us are annoyed with the situation. It is interesting though with a player in a contract though, right? Because like at work, if I'm annoyed with my bosses or my work, I can just leave. I can find a new job. I can get out. Whereas he's tied in for however long, and so they need to force that move a little bit more. And I get it, but then you look at like Eze and Gahey starting tonight, they just seem to be doing things the right way. Like if Isak really wanted to move, hand in a transfer request, but he doesn't want to do that because then he forfeits a load of bonuses and rest of it. So it's hard to feel sympathy for him still.
It is, and like I said, it's a tough one. And I do feel like he has been really badly advised as well. Yeah. Like how his agent must have said to him, wait until Ekitike signs for Liverpool, and then we'll start kicking up a fuss.
Worst timing.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if he would have made it really, really obvious he wanted to go there before that, I think they would have signed him. Ekitike would have gone somewhere else, and nobody would really be thinking much about it. But yeah, I think he's been really badly advised. He's a great player as well. So like I said, it's bad for FPL and it's bad for the Premier League because you want him playing in it. And at the moment, obviously, we're not able to. I did say, though, didn't I, last week that I still thought Newcastle would do okay even if he's not there. They did. They looked way better than Aston Villa did, and they looked organised like you would expect under Eddie Howe, but they need a striker. They need somebody to be playing up top there.
Well, that takes us very nicely on to talking point 3, because it's funny you mentioned a team that played really well, but obviously didn't have that clinical edge in front of goal, because I think you could say exactly the same about your team, Manchester United.
I know, and people, I hate this now because I've just spoken about Liverpool, and now I'm going to talk about United. That is the best I've seen us play in quite a while, and especially against Arsenal as well, which is genuinely going to be one of the hardest games you play this year. First off, can I just say that Arsenal will be absolutely delighted with the fact they've gone first game of the season to Old Trafford, walked away with 3 points, and they should be. And it's those kind of games that they need to be winning and walking away from and going, yes, this is great for us, great start of the season. But there were quite a few signs from that game that made me optimistic that you could own United players this season. And I'm not saying you're going to own them all season.
You're bringing 3 in, aren't you, this week? -8.
Exactly. But it's made me optimistic that we're actually going to have an opportunity to maybe own them, which is quite nice. Bruno's obviously 9 million. Cunha and Mbeumo are both 8. And I think there are going to be opportunities to own Cunha or Mbeumo. Which one of the two I think is tough to say at the moment after just one game. But Mbeumo got the ball a hell of a lot against Arsenal, and we were targeting him an awful lot as well. But Cunha's going to be the star, I think. He was making things happen. And I'm looking at it and thinking, game week 3 against Burnley at home. I want to see the Fulham game first. But in that game, owning one of those wouldn't be the worst move. The next 2 fixtures after that aren't kind, City and Chelsea, which is the issue. But Cunha and Mbeumo, I think, could be, especially with Sesko starts, which we're hoping to now, because I'm not expecting Mount and a false 9 next week, hopefully. But I do genuinely think they could be quite good. And with the formation we're playing in that 3-4-3, they will get tons of chances. We won't win every game, obviously, and we're going to concede because we do not have a keeper, but we're going to score a few more goals this year. So, yeah, I think it could be interesting moving forward to see when we can fit some of these United boys in for 2-3 weeks potentially.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned about, when to get involved with them, because I'm looking at Sesko as a potential Pedro replacement. Like if he's up to speed by the time that Burnley game, you want to see him get a start really before you bring him in, I think. But that's quite an easy move. I mean, Wirtz is someone that you could potentially move down to an Mbeumo or a Cunha if he's not delivering. But the trouble is he has a really good run in game weeks 4 and 5. So if you're getting rid of him in game week 3, obviously it's Arsenal, but then you bring in Cunha. Well, then Man United then go to Man City away the next game, and then you've got Liverpool away at Burnley. So you could immediately regret that decision. So it's hard to know when to invest in Man U, but I think it's probably game week 6, right? That's probably when it gives them a bit of time to gel. You see a bit more from some of the players, and then they've got a decentish run from 6.
And this is the issue with game week 3, is that unless you're free hitting, and I did look at free hit 3 before the season started, thinking it might be quite nice to jump on, say, triple United in game week 3. But the other fixtures aren't that nice. And I've already got triple Forest and they've got West Ham at home. So there's a lot of it that I'm looking at and thinking, I'm not sure I'm going to do that. But if you bring a United player in for game week 3, followed by City and Chelsea, you're not looking at it and thinking I'm going to be expecting a lot from 3 weeks. But then, like you said, in game week 6, you've got Brentford away, Sunderland at home, Liverpool away, which obviously isn't very nice, but then Brighton at home could be all right. I don't think there's a long enough run to justify bringing someone in yet. And we haven't even spoken about Bruno either. Bruno, DEFCON, he got 11 on DEFCON this week, didn't he? So he was 1 point away from getting an extra 2. He is on penalties as well. It's just nice to be able to look at them.
Sorry, I'd just like to quote...
he will never blank.
Andrew North on the final episode of pre-season.
He was so close.
Bruno Fernandes... I just don't think he will ever blank.
That's not what I said. It wasn't with that much conviction.
It's written.
I said he's turning into a player. Where's it written? Have you got it written down? No.
He will never blank.
He almost did it, didn't he? He almost got his 12. Are we counting that as a non-blank now, by the way, if they get DEFCON points? So if he walked away with 4 points, is that a non-blank?
Do you know what? That's an excellent question. I'm going to put it in the chat because I feel weird saying yes. But also, it probably is. I mean, 4 points. 4 points. I guess it's not right.
Yeah.
I mean, sorry. I guess it is. I guess it's not a blank. It's not a blank.
Yes.
It's not a blank. Yeah.
This is the last thing I'll say about Man United, by the way. The other player who's going to benefit a lot from this system and looked very good against Arsenal is Dorgu. Dorgu at 4.5 million, hit the post as well. He is getting forward a ridiculous amount. And even when Sesko comes in, he's going to be doing the same. So keep an eye out for Dorgu as well. In that run from game week 6, could potentially take a punt on him.
My God, you need a goalkeeper though, don't you?
Yeah, badly.
How does it get worse after Onana?
There's talk about De Gea coming back, for God's sake. God. I know, we desperately need a keeper. And it sounds like he picked Bayindir and Heaton over Onana. So, yeah, we're in dire straits here. We just need to score a lot of goals.
Yep. I think you might. The signs were good. I agree. Yeah. I thought you played well. Mount was industrious, but Sesko's got to come into that team as soon as possible, I think.
He did well as a false 9.
He did fine.
What it meant was he dropped back and Cunha and Mbeumo obviously went forward. But yeah, Sesko will be the difference, hopefully.
He did fine, but yeah, you need a striker. And then the other side of Manchester, a good performance and a big result as well. I thought City were absolutely excellent in that game. Obviously, the talk of this episode, Reijnders with the purple pun, given that we're purple BlackBox, given that we both owned him and he's reigning supreme. I know, but I thought I would anyway. I was quite happy with that name. I just thought City were excellent. I thought they looked just really, really strong. Reijnders ran the show. His first goal, the way how quickly he took it, just before that defender came into him, his passing, the little chip over, just everything he did was just great. And it's exactly what we wanted, right? We wanted to see that box to box option going forward and getting points. I mean, we are going to mention Reijnders a few times in this stream, but how essential is Reijnders right now? If you didn't have him, would you get him?
If I didn't have him and I had another player that was more or the same price, so for instance, if you went for Arias, whatever it is, I think it's an easy move. Even though he's gone up now, I still think it's an easy move. I think for what we saw with the pace he's got as well, I'd rather this early in the season jump on a player like that, watch the price rises go up, because if he gets another return game week 2, he's like I said, he's going to be 6 mil by game week 3, and that's some really nice early kind of team value you can build up. Interesting noting though that Pep wasn't very happy after the game. He didn't actually think City controlled the game very well, and he was very, very annoyed that they kept attacking in the transition and it was all more kind of counter-attacking. He loves the fact they've got the pace now, and Reijnders' pace is ridiculous, but he wasn't overly happy at the end of the game, which was quite interesting.
I thought Wolves played well. I thought they were really unlucky not to score. I thought Strand Larsen had a really good game. I think he's just going to continue to get better and better over the season, and probably end up with quite a big move somewhere, because he's got it all, isn't he? He can link up the play. He's got a good shot on him. I mean, he got 14 goals last season, and even with less creativity around, you always feel like he's going to make something happen. So yeah, fair play to him. Attaboy says, "Oops, I need to get rid of that up there." Reijnders is the only justified knee-jerk transfer this game week. I think I agree with that.
Worth mentioning as well, though, by the way, City only had 4 shots on target, scored 4 goals.
Yep.
So you could easily say that was quite a fortunate scoreline.
Yep. I think Rutter is a good example of, if I didn't have Reijnders and I just had Rutter, I'd be doing that move this week.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to be without him. It's more difficult if you've got like a Dewsbury Hall or Anderson, for example, and they're your only ones that you want to move, because you've got to find the extra money, and it's only been 1 week. But
would you do Anderson now that they've got Douglas Luiz in as well? Do you think there's any worry there? Because I thought Anderson was brilliant. I genuinely thought he was excellent in that game, and the assist. I mean, the Chris Wood no-look run, I thought was absolutely amazing for the Anderson assist.
Incredible.
But I think Anderson and Wright. I know I started with them, and it's lucky really. But I think owning both is fine.
Yeah, so do I. I think the Anderson starts aren't in question. I think he's too important to that midfield. But you've got to think there's going to be more chance of him getting subbed off at 75, 80 minutes. When Douglas Luiz, comes in, a bit of fresh legs, and that does affect his ability to get DEFCON right. He's going to have to get it in a shorter window. So I think it does affect him a bit. But again, at 5-5, he could have had 2 assists in that match,
easily.
And he was 1 point off the DEFCON target, and he cost 5-5. You can't really lose.
Yeah, no, exactly.
You can't really lose. I want to give a shout out to Luke, our excellent third wheel of the tripod. Does that make sense? Whatever he is. Luke had a great post about Vardiol and Aït-Nouri. He did have an excellent post about City in general, and I just thought I'd read it because I was going to do a bit of a tactical chat about City and the way they played, which was a different sort of system to what we're used to. And then Luke did this post, and I was like, you know what, he knows this stuff a lot better than I do. The Man U fan who seems to know everything about Man City's tactics.
I know.
So this is what Luke said. Pep actually went for the old faithful inverted fullback setup rather than the recent expected double fullback push, which is why we saw Aït-Nouri tucking in into that left-sided centre-back role, which I was not expecting him to do in that. I believe this was to control the centre and help protect the area with the lack of Rodri. None of City's midfielders are as defensively blessed as the big man. Excellent point, because when I saw that midfield with like Reijnders, with Nico and with Bernardo, you do look at it and think that is a lightweight midfield. They haven't got that engine that Rodri gives them. So obviously it's a clever way to counter that. This meant that Aït-Nouri was more of a third centre-back until settled possession, where he then had some freedom, and this contributed to him being able to get the DEFCONs. Again, I was never expecting Aït-Nouri to come away with DEFCON points. The role is actually more suited to Vardiol, so had he been fit, Aït-Nouri might not have started. He did grow into the role though, and that was great. That's interesting, because we would have been gutted if game week 1 Aït-Nouri was benched for Vardiol, and we'd probably be looking at our whole week very differently, because we'd be thinking, well, now we've got to potentially move him out. Is he going to start against Spurs? But I do agree, if that's the system with the tucking into centre back, Vardyal is more suited to that. In this out wide wingers are usually preferred, or the pitch is too narrow, which is why Doku over Marmoush. Bob was always likely to start given the lack of fit right wing options. What do you think of Oscar Bob?
I like him. I thought he played really well as well. But trying to pick a winger in that system, knowing he's going to start for you, is just going to be an absolute nightmare. I do feel sorry for all those people that went for Marmoush. And obviously, I wasn't expecting Bob and Doku to start, but...
Yeah. I like Bob. I mean, Luke goes on with Savio probably leaving because he's been linked with moves away. Bob is likely to play this setup. He's the only natural one in that role. Obviously, if the system changes, maybe they don't need that out and out right winger and things change. But Bob is a potential one for the watch list. Don't rush for him, but one to watch. With so much protecting the centre, this of course helps Reijnders to flourish and be the box crasher, which is where we want him to be, and give that support to Haaland, not have to do any defensive work. Don't be fooled, though, and this is the word of warning from Luke. This is just one of Pep's setups, and as ever, he will pick an opponent and the players in form available to him. Marmoush, Cherki will surely see lots of game time, and that changes roles for others, most notably Aït-Nouri and Reijnders. In some games, Aït-Nouri will be fully unleashed, and in others, Reijnders will have to drop back and not be the main Haaland support. Excellent analysis. Look at that.
I know.
Covers that whole thing, doesn't it?
This is why we brought him in.
So yeah, I mean the long TLDR for this is City were very good. This is one of the systems. It affects players like Cherki, Marmoush, Aït-Nouri's attacking potential. Don't be afraid of it really, because you're going to see players that you might own flourishing in different systems. If you're not willing to have the fact that you might see some of your players playing in different roles, playing in different systems, being on the bench every now and then, Aït-Nouri will get benched every now and then. Reijnders will get benched every now and then. You don't ride the City roulette wagon, but when you do, you get returns like we got.
Doesn't it make Aït-Nouri even spicier? Because it means in one system he's really attacking, in the other system he could pick up DEFCON points.
I know.
Which he picked up 15. I didn't think he was going to be anywhere near it. He picked up 50. He only needed 10. So
absolutely unbelievable.
I think I think he could be great this year.
Yep. Dan says you're not an as. Oh, I thought I said you're not an as fan. Emma, what's Emma said? Oh, Andy, you look fire tonight without stripping off too. God, look, is that your burner account? Are you?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I thought Dan was asking that you're not an Emma fan.
Emma.
Yeah, I know. It's your lighting, probably. Need to get that sorted.
Yeah, I'm getting a suntan
here. Emma does jump the wave as well, which is line-up predictions. I thought Dan was being critical of me not mentioning Emma, but I will mention Emma. Jump the wave is great.
I've always been a big Emma fan. Thank you, Emma.
Yes, excellent stuff. Captain, all the things. Lovely. Right. I have got some stats to show. Before I do that, I mean, obviously, Fantasy Football Scout are key sponsors of BlackBox this season. All the stats you see across every episode will be from Fantasy Football Scout, so do check them out if you're interested. There's a 5% extra off deal at the moment if you scan the QR on the screen, or if you follow the link in the description and use the code FFS BlackBox5, you get 5% off, and that locks in that price for life. You can do, I mean, I've spent a lot of time in the members area over the last couple of days getting this stream sorted, and it blows my mind how many things you can do with those custom tables. There's like hundreds of different stats that you can put into tables. You can filter by different things. It's, you can do whatever you want with it. So this is just the tip of the iceberg, really, in some of the stuff that I'm showing. So do check Scout. And they've just brought in, have you seen the live FPL price prediction widget?
Yes, very cool.
Really nice. Really nice. So yeah, do check them out for all of that.
Everybody's been doing quite well with the price rise predictions, haven't they? Surprisingly, they've kind of got them all right so far, which is interesting. Whether something's changed, I don't know. RIP
to FPL statistics, because that was the one that I always used. And yeah, I guess now with live FPL, more traffic going to that, they've closed the doors. But thank you for your service, because you guys have been right at the top of it for years and years and years, and it's a shame to see you go. But yeah. Thanks for all the work you did. Let's take a look at the top Game Week 1 performers then, and talk about whether let's go through these and say whether we think they're actually options for us or not. Ballard, 17 points. Incredible performance from Sunderland. Yeah, this guy down here.
Told you.
Game Week 1, it's over. They're staying up.
Done. No, I don't think Ballard's going to be much of an option. I mean, their fixtures aren't actually that bad, are they? They're top of the fixture ticker, but I'm not expecting this every week.
They're second to Villa, so they've got Burnley, Brentford, Palace, Villa, Forest, United.
Taking away game week 1, yeah. So no, I'm not expecting much after that. That is the typical kind of everybody jumps on the central defender that scores in game week 1. So
one thing I will say is baseline bonus, which is the bonus players are getting without all the goals and assists and clean sheets and everything. It's just what they're doing on the pitch. Baseline bonus of 29 is incredibly high, and that is one of the reasons why they price Ballard slightly higher than the others. It's clever pricing because the others are all 4 million. They haven't got the goal threat. They haven't got the baseline bonus. He got the DEFCON as well. So you never know. Might end up being a factor for us, throughout the season.
You'd have to downgrade a 5 million defender at the moment, wouldn't you?
You would.
To get up to him, which doesn't feel nice either.
That is very true. Semenyo, there was a few people with him at Fest, like you mentioned. I had him first bench for my draft team, which I was over the moon about, considering I lost my first match by 3 points. Could have played him over anyone and won that game. He did overperform on his XG. You can see the XGI delta, which is the XGI versus the returns that he got, essentially the 2 goals. But XGI non-penalty of 0.93 was third to only Haaland and Ikatike. They got great fixtures as well, Bournemouth.
That's the thing. They do have good fixtures. They're buying well as well, so they're replacing the players that they obviously sold. And I think is it Adley they're getting in as well. That happened today. I was looking at Evan Nilsson to start the season because after game week 1, their fixtures were nice. If you did start with Semenyo, you're sitting pretty. The only thing I'll say is Semenyo is infuriating to own because he is very much somebody that will shoot like mad, but he actually isn't that good in terms of shooting. He's a good player, and I think Bournemouth fans were very, very disappointed with him last year because they thought he was going to step up a little bit more, and he didn't. Yes, he scored 2 goals at the end of the game week 38 last year. He's now scored 2 goals in game week 1. I wouldn't be surprised if he went 7-8 weeks now without another goal. Like that is the kind of player he is.
Interesting. I see. I feel a lot more optimistic about him than I think you do
because he scored 2 goals last week.
Well, I just genuinely. He scored 2 goals at the back end of last season as well in that final game, and he's constantly a threat, isn't he? He had the most shots of all midfielders, I think, at one point for last season. Obviously it's quantity over quality, but if he can improve, he's 25 years old. Are you saying that you don't think he's got the ability to improve on some of that conversion?
I thought he was going to do it
season?
Last year. Last year I thought he was going to improve. Whether he can buck that trend and, all of a sudden he does get that extra little bit of kind of finishing ability this season. Maybe this is the start. Maybe this is the start where all of a sudden he starts doing it. But obviously we're not expecting 2 goals every game. The fixtures are nice, but I'm just looking at it. Yes, there you go. Look, so the fixtures: Wolves, Spurs, Brighton, Newcastle, Leeds, Fulham. You can see goals.
Incredible run.
You can, yeah. I still think Evan Nilsson is there, and he's on pens when Kluivert isn't. Kluivert's there and is on pens, and he should be back for game week 2. Semenyo, as I've just said, is now 7.1. So again, you're going to be having to move down from a 7.5 to get to him.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be going for Semenyo yet. I would need to see something from those games to show me that he's a different player to what he was personally.
If you could pick one of Rodgers or Semenyo right now, who'd you pick?
Probably still Rodgers.
See, I'd definitely go Semenyo. So we are different on that.
The fixtures are close. Aston Villa are top of the fixture ticker for the next 6, but I think Rodgers a far better player than Semenyo. So I'd go with him.
Interesting. Okay. Interesting. Okay, let's know in the chat what you think, Semenyo or Rodgers from that. Let's look at the next one. Next one is Haaland. So next year non-penalty of 1.99.
Who's that?
Oh, some big guy that was rubbish last season. If he can keep an XGI non-penalty penalty of 2 over the season, I think he's going to smash pretty much every record you could ever imagine. I love his baseline bonus, -2.
God.
Really going to need to be getting those goals if he's going to get any bonus. But it was a great performance, wasn't it? League high for shots in the box. 7 touches in the box. That was the highest that we saw as well. Huge XGI, 13 points. Nothing not to like, really. Just a great overall performance from an expensive player.
They don't we obviously have you here to answer the big questions, mate. So I'm going to ask you the big one. Did we make a massive mistake going Salah instead of Haaland? And if it was a mistake, should we be correcting it already?
When I show you the captain matrix in a minute, you might think that we did. Would you swap now?
No.
Stick with Salah?
I still would. The thing I've always said is, if Haaland and Salah perform the same, Salah outscores him. So I've always thought Haaland needs to outperform Salah for you to justify going for him. Obviously, there's a 0.5 saving, but that's just not a lot at the moment. So I still think it's fine to go with Salah. Because Salah the trouble with Salah is he's got 2 trickier fixtures coming up now, hasn't he? So he's got Newcastle and Arsenal, but then he's got Burnley and Everton after that, and Crystal Palace. So I'll expect some returns in those, and there's no reason why he can't return in the others, and he's still on pens as well. So yeah, it's the captaincy that makes things interesting, and if people have Haaland, they're going to be on him for captain this week, you would have thought. But I don't think it was a mistake doing it the other way round, but Salah scoring in the last minute didn't ease my fears on that.
I agree with Webby on the screen. I think if I was wildcarding now, or if I was picking again, I'd go for both. I think there's enough. I think there's enough 5-5 options. I think you don't need one of the 7-5 forwards. Potentially, you could go 4 at the back. Palmer looked really poor. Saka potentially losing penalties to Gyökeres. Oh, I don't know. I think I'd go both.
Palmer? Would you still have Palmer?
Well, Mr. T, Palmer looks like a mistake. It wasn't great, was it?
Yeah, it didn't look good. I mean, maybe this is what we're seeing from the Club World Cup hangover. They were lucky to not lose 1-0, weren't they?
Well, I mean, you look at the teams Chelsea played, and other than PSG in the final, it was a pretty easy run, to the end of that tournament. I mean, you can only beat what's in front of you. I'm not taking that away from them, world champions and all that, but he proved at the end of last season that he can go for a prolonged period of time without getting anything. He hasn't scored in the league since January, is it, or something like that? Like some crazy statistic. It's West Ham next. If he doesn't get anything in that game, alarm bells are definitely ringing, I think.
I think if they didn't have West Ham next and West Ham didn't have such a bad game week 1, I think a lot of people would have been moving off Pedro and Palmer already and moving to Saka or moving to someone like Chris Wood. Based on what they did in game week 1 and the fact that Saka has Leeds this week as well, I think a lot of people would have been making that move. But I don't think you can get rid of him before West Ham, basically. Yeah, I think if you've got them, you've got to keep them.
Would you captain him?
Palmer? Yeah, I am. Yeah.
You are?
Yeah.
Oh, we're doing something different.
And I won't be able to see it.
We're doing something different.
I won't be able to watch it. I'll be on a plane in the air.
Oh, you're for your holidays. Your hollybobs.
Oh, yeah.
Lovely.
So I won't be able to watch it at all. So that'll be fun when I land and find out how him and Pedro did.
Yeah, I'm out Friday night as well, and that is a slight reason, not the main reason, but that is definitely a factor in. If they were the Monday night, I hate it. I shouldn't be doing these podcasts and saying, "Oh, pick a player who plays later in the game week," but it does have a bit of an influence, doesn't it? Like Salah on the Monday night is definitely more appealing than Palmer on the Friday night. All things equal,
it shouldn't be like that. No.
And this is why the models do so well, and we do absolute crap. Yeah. Chris Woods. In 4th, 13 points for him. I am gutted about not picking him. I really am.
Fixtures are nice as well. You look at the fixtures there. They are, what have they got? Crystal Palace, West Ham, Arsenal away, but then Burnley, Sunderland. So they've got 2 promoted teams. In the
West
next
Ham,
5.
Burnley and Sunderland, 3 in 4 games.
They got pens as well. He's got pens as well. Forest looked good as well, but I don't know how much of that is Brentford looking bad. And I've said all off-season, I think Brentford will struggle. So again, he's 7.6. So if you started with a 7.5 striker, you're having to make 2 moves to get to him now, unless you kept 0.5 in the bank. So I don't think many people are going to move to him unless they have already.
Did you see Keith Andrews' comments about Visser?
No.
He said, Visser got 8 of his goals from set pieces last season, so he should be begging me to stay. It's like, that is bold.
Yeah, there you go.
And then Visser deleted all of his social media. So, yeah. Maybe didn't work out too well for him. I really like Chris Wood. I actually didn't realise he'd gone up in price. Yeah, 7.6. That definitely makes it tougher. If he gets another goal against Palace and he's going into West Ham at home though, it's going to be really annoying. This is last season. It's Groundhog Day again. He's going to get another 20 goals. Oh, God. Calafiore, I don't think we need to talk about too much. I don't think he's too great an option with their fixtures. Richarlison, I'm seeing quite a few people tempted by him. I don't get that one at all, given it's Man City next. Solanke's lurking. He's not going to score amazing overhead kicks or bicycle kicks like he did in the last game.
Great goal, by the way.
Absolutely amazing goal. Yeah, fair play to him. Ekatike I do want to talk about, because Wirtz was obviously poor in that match, both FPL-wise. I mean, it wasn't a bad... I can't really say it was a poor performance. I thought he played all right, but you want him more involved in the danger zones, which he wasn't. When Luke and I had Andy on the stream, better Andy, he said he's worried that Wirtz might be sexy player to watch, not a great FPL asset. How long do we give him?
I think you give him a bit of time. I think he's got nice fixtures in 4 and 5, and he's also got some tougher fixtures where at least the opposition might come out a little bit. I think that maybe didn't help him. I'm trying to find... I can't remember who Bournemouth played defensive mid. They had 2, didn't they? Oh, they had Tyler Adams, I suppose Tavernier, and Tavernier got 20.
Yeah, not 20.
DFS,
I don't think.
19. Maybe it was 19.
He was up there.
And they had Tyler Adams, who also hit his DEFCON as well. 20.
I know Van Dijk got the most with 21.
And that's obviously the space that they like to operate in, and Wirtz likes to operate in. So as soon as he goes up against an opposition where he's got that kind of space in that hole, I think that's where he's going to benefit. I don't think you picked Wirtz to move off him after one game week. And he is the type of player I feel like as soon as you move off him, he's going to get you in a goal and assist. So, no, I wouldn't move off yet. I think after game week 5, we can reassess, because then he's got another 2 nice fixtures.
Hot off the press, it looks like, being widely reported, that Arsenal are in pretty advanced talks for Eze. So they'd be pipping Spurs for him. Interesting, Trossard's just signed a new contract as well, and... he's not going to start now, is he? If they've got Marcelli and
quite like
Eze.
the idea of him at Spurs, actually.
Yeah, I liked him more at Spurs than I do at Arsenal, for sure.
Ekatike, by the way, do you think we wait till game week 4? Because game week 4 they've got 2 nice fixtures. We'll know because game week 4 is when the transfer window closes.
Yeah, you've got to.
I think if Isak hasn't signed, Ekatike's got to be in our thoughts, hasn't he?
I don't think you can pick Ekatike with this Isak. Yeah. Rumours going around. I think in both games I've seen Ekatike play, I have been so impressed. And, I must admit, over pre-season, I looked at his goal-scoring record and I thought, obviously he's young, but there wasn't really anything that massively stood out. I thought in the Community Shield he was awesome. And then I thought he was an absolute stand-up player on the pitch. He's just a fun pick, isn't he? He's quite raw, but he can, again, do all the things you want a centre-forward to do. And if they can play him on the left, play him in different positions... yeah, he's a hell of a signing. I want him. I want him over Wirtz, but if I was picking now, I'd still pick Wirtz because I don't trust that Isak news.
Yeah.
But fair. If you've got him, yeah, you'd be pretty happy with that. Lewis, I think anyone's really considering. Kudus, good performance from him. Massively overperformed. 0.64 the XG on penalties, quite high, but obviously got the two assists for that. Rayhead's an annoying one. O'Reilly on pens for Brighton.
Yeah, you disappointed with that? You thought Rutter might be on them?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, there's still a chance O'Reilly leaves.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's what I saw before the game.
He's being heavily linked with Juventus still, and obviously they're getting rid of Douglas Luiz. I mean, O'Reilly keeps coming out, though, and saying, I'm not leaving. Like, stop talking about it. I'm really happy here. So, yeah, I have to see what happens with that. Reijn, as we've talked about, but look at that XGI delta, 1.66. His XGI on penalty was only 0.34. That is low. Yeah. So we want to see that increasing. He's only 5'6", but obviously he's going to get into the big numbers. He needs to improve on that. The rest are kind of average options, I think. I mean, Ain't Nori is the one, though. I mean, XGI on penalty of 0.06 sums it up. But then if we come over to the next one, like you mentioned earlier, the DEFCONs, he was absolutely smashing it on that. He got 15.
Can I just say as well, everybody, well, not to be fair, actually, it was met quite positively when it came out with DEFCONs. I love the fact that I can be watching a game and I can be constantly refreshing the FPL app to see how they're getting on with their DEFCONs, to see if they're close. Like, I didn't even consider really it.
Yeah, I didn't even consider that aspect of it. I thought it would just sort of update when the game ends. You didn't really know what you were looking for. But yeah, the fact it's like the bonus point system, isn't it? Like it's updating, but the bonus point system is so bloody convoluted and you don't understand what's going on. Whereas with this, you see it going up in real time. I think it's a great addition. I genuinely really, really enjoyed it. Well done, Mark.
Yeah. No, I do like it. And when you see someone like 8 Nori who you've picked for attack and returns, and then he's also getting DEFCON, it's actually quite exciting. You're sat there going, oh my God, he could get loads of points here. So it is quite fun. And even like I said, Van Dijk played very, very well against that Bournemouth side, got 4 points. Actually,
21.
Yeah, 21 DEFCON. So no, I think it's a great shout. Tarkowski, he had it after like 60 minutes, didn't he?
I know.
It's great watching players like that and knowing, I picked those for that. And when you get players like Anderson and Bruno, who a lot of us went to sleep thinking in the morning that might have changed. You never know, that might change. And then all of a sudden they get you 2 more points.
I don't like that element of it. I would like things to be finalised quicker. Just for anyone not aware, DEFCON's a defensive contribution, so they're the new thing that FPL have brought in. It's interceptions, clearances, and blocks for defenders.
CBIT. Blocks.
Yeah.
Clearances, blocks,
and tackles.
interceptions, tackles. Yeah.
And then for midfielders, it's the same, but they also have recoveries as well, and they have a slightly higher threshold for it. So defenders only need to get 10 of these DEFCONs, and midfielders need to get 12. And over game week 1, we had 15 defenders meet the 10 threshold, so they got an extra 2 points. We had 10 midfielders get the 12 points. But in total, if you're looking for around 10, which sort of puts you in amongst the things, we had 35 players meeting that over the game. So yeah, it was quite a few. You can see here it's mostly centre backs, your Lacroix, your Tarkowskis, but then you do have some outliers. Those Vifa does really well for that, Brighton right back. 8 Nori, like we mentioned, 2. Aina, I mean, the one Nottingham Forest player that we didn't pick because we didn't think he'd get them, and he's the only one that bloody gets it. Where's Murillo? We thought he would be getting them every week.
Yeah, I know. The other big one for me was Saliba, because we were spending ages, weren't we, saying that Arsenal players just aren't going to get it because they dominate games possession-wise. But Saliba got it against United. But then does that, kind of prove the point that I was saying, is that United look good? They were having to get those DEFCON points in there. So, yeah, I think Saliba's a big one. So Saliba ended up with 9 points, I think, didn't he? Which was big for him. So, yeah, I thought it was a great addition. Watching it play out during the game, I thought was great.
The funniest one was Salah, wasn't it? I mean, we were watching it at first. It's like, is Salah on 8 DEFCON? And then he got to 9. And then I think he was on 11, and then they dropped him back down 1. But it's like, what? It's like the exact thing that DEFCON wasn't supposed to do. Boost a player like Salah. Imagine if he got it. Fernandez got 11. He just missed out. So did Anderson as well. But yeah, like players that we earmarked at the start. So your Van Dijk, Lacroix, Tarkowski, Vandenberg. Neil did an article about Vandenberg. Yellen's picked him in her team off the back of this article from Neil, which is absolutely wild. They all did well for these. Saliba, like you mentioned, too. And then obviously players like Casado. He made it, so you're going to think he's going to pick them up quite often as well. So yeah, whole new way of playing the game. So yeah, fair play. I mean, as well as DEFCONs, I thought I'd just show the defenders as well, because I think defenders have had a boost this season, obviously with those points, and we did see some goals from defenders, and we saw some quite good attacking play too. I mean, I will just say as a bit of a disclaimer, this table doesn't really work so well when it's one game week's worth of data. We like to use the per 90 stats, which means you're kind of creating stats based on the fact they're going to play more minutes than you'd expect. And someone like Calafiori, for example, he gets a boost because he only plays 71 minutes, so it's putting it up. But as the season goes on, this will all balance, and it just brings players who are playing less minutes, who might be playing more, into the equation with everyone else. Because if you just divide it by number of games, it would be a bit confusing. But some good XGI numbers from some of the defenders here. I mean, Calafiori is the highest, 1.17. Obviously, Lewis got the assist. Goodmanson did well for this too. Kukurea, who a lot of people went for. He still looks like in a really, really attacking role that he's playing. Van de Ven, Porro looked good. You've got so many routes to points now, it feels, from defenders, because they're all having shots and creating chances too.
Yeah, again, I mean, this is where one game week's worth of data could be quite noisy in terms of like Calafiori and Van de Ven. They were just 2 big chances, weren't they? That was it. That was literally it. Like Calafiori was on the goal line basically after Biendir dropped the ball, and Van de Ven was one big chance as well. So I wouldn't take too much of this with a pinch. I would take a lot of this with a pinch of salt. But then you've got players like So Porro's on here, 0.35 XGI per 90. He's obviously got City next. Are you playing Porro, do you think? Because he's got the attacking threat, and he could be playing kind of very, very advanced on that right-hand side. But I'm not expecting a clean sheet in any way.
We'll talk about it in a bit because Rob T, I'm 50-50, and we've got some stats from Rob T, which might help make our mind up on that. At the moment, he's in, but I'm undecided. I'm looking each way. But yeah, keep your eye on defenders this year, because I do think at one point, at various points throughout the season, we are going to be switching to four at the back. Potentially, especially if we're looking for Salah and Haaland, one of Saka or Palmer starts kicking off as well. Yeah, it should be quite interesting. Talking about teams, just having a look. Obviously, it's only one game week's worth of data, but I just wanted to mention Newcastle. Really, you mentioned at the start there was a lot of talk about them and how they would perform. Defence looked really solid. They had the lowest XG non-penalty per 90. Villa just couldn't create anything against them. Do you think that's more of a insight into Villa this season, or do you think Newcastle are going to kick on defensively?
Yeah, Villa. I mean, it genuinely looked like Villa was still in pre-season, and I think that is. I think that's the best XGC Newcastle have recorded since they started doing kind of XG and XGC records. So I think it said an awful lot about that. It said, Newcastle was solid, obviously, but Villa, first half especially, put up 0 XG. They were not good first half. And obviously there were a lot of people out there with Rodgers and Watkins. So this is where, again, one game week sample is not easy. And also, I don't really know who I'd pick in that back line for Newcastle if I were to move to him. But they've also got the third hardest next 6. So, yeah, it's an interesting one there. But again, I think these kind of tables are really tough to look at until you've got 5-6 game weeks worth of data. And even then, that's not, that's still a small sample size, isn't it?
Yep. Well, that's a nice link because I'm going to show you another table now as well, which is this one, not that one. Just showing XG per 90, because we had some teams, racking them up. I mean, Man City, Spurs, Liverpool, Forest, Bournemouth, 1.7 against Liverpool as well. Chelsea, 1.6 without scoring, 2. And like you said, Manchester United, 1.5. So it was a week which could have had a lot more goals, I think, than it actually did, because Man U, Chelsea, maybe unlucky. I think Burnley were unlucky not to score. XG 90 of 0.94, a 2 in that one. So yeah, could be a season of goals if game week 1 is anything to go by.
It could be. And actually, all the talk before the season kicked off was about this new penalty rule, wasn't it? Or about the new you can't hold on to people in the box and all that kind of stuff. So we were maybe expecting a few more goals. I think the teams that did go big, for instance, City, Liverpool obviously scored 4, Forest and Spurs scored 3, and Sunderland scored 3 as well. They did go big in those games. But then, like you said, we had quite a few teams that scored 0 goals. Chelsea, Man United and Newcastle, you'd have expected to have scored at least 1. Newcastle, I think Alanga had 1 or 2 quite big chances. Man United had a few. I think, like I said, after 5-6 weeks, it'd be interesting to see how these tables are shaping up. But some people have really hard starts. That's the other thing as well. So, for instance, Man United, I know the first 5 weeks, it's not very nice at all with some of the teams they have to play. Newcastle, we've just said, have an awful kind of next couple of lot. Arsenal do as well. Yeah, we just need it all to kind of settle in and start to show a bit of a pattern if we can.
Yep. Well, don't worry. I've got some previous 6 stats when we switch to those tables too. So we'll have the next 6 difficulty and the previous 6 difficulty as we go through. All set up. And lovely. Okay, predictions. Let's come straight over to this then. Not going to go through all of the positions. Again, thanks to Liv for sorting out the predictions, and well done everyone getting your predictions in ahead of last week. Obviously, if you're interested in getting involved in this, head over to the BlackBox Patreon. You need to go now, I think. Otherwise, you're going to miss out on too many points. So if you're interested at all in taking on Andy, Luke, and I, and the other BlackBox patrons, head over to our Patreon to have a look. I might even have a QR code for it. 1 second. It is there. So just zap the QR code on the screen. Join the BlackBox Patreon. You can see on the little video the predictions site that we've had built. So you can enter your predictions and compete against us throughout the season. Okay. That's the standings. We'll come to that in a second. Predictions. West Ham, Chelsea, both gone for 2-1.
Yeah, feels pretty solid, that does, doesn't it? Bodes well for Pedro in in Parma. If they can get 2 goals, you think they'd be involved in some way. But we'd be hoping that they score 2 goals in the first 70 minutes because I don't think Pedro will get any more than that.
Yeah. I'm backing Pedro. I think he'll do all right. Obviously disappointed to see him come off early and not have the impact that we thought we would. But it's another game where West Ham are going to play deep and they need someone that can unlock them. And I'm under, like, he'll start. I'm not worried about his start at all in this one. Delap looked all right when he came on, but they need Pedro from the off. So you want an early goal, don't you? That's what you want. Open it up a bit, give him a bit more space. Yep. City Spurs, both gone for a City win. I've gone for a 3-1. You've gone for a 2-0.
Yeah, I'm still undecided as to whether Spurs have changed all of a sudden. I know they won 3-0, but it was against Burnley. I think that this will be the game where they kind of come back down to earth a bit and say, we're not there yet, obviously. And City looked very good, so I think professional 2-0. I think Pep will talk to him about possession and control a bit more, and it'll be 2-0.
No Son to run City ragged this time. Yeah. Brentford, Aston Villa. I've gone for a 1-0 Villa. You've gone for a 2-1.
Yeah, Brentford didn't look great, did they? And Villa didn't look great either. So a hard-fought 2-1.
Yeah, I just think both teams will struggle to score, and it could be a 1-0. Watkins could be a problem, if this is another low-scoring game and he blanks. We're both looking at our game. One's quite rosy, but if we've got Pedro and Watkins and Wirtz, for example, who all blank.
Thing is,
what point do we panic?
As well, if they get a penalty and Watkins doesn't take it, I think Watkins has to go. You can't be spending 9 million on a striker that's not on penalties as well. I think that's too much. So yeah, if they get a pen and he doesn't take it or he blanks again, he's definitely on the chopping block.
Yep. Bournemouth Wolves. I've gone for 2-1. You've gone for 2-1. Gone quite similar with these.
Fancy that. I think that looks good.
Yeah, Semenyo to do well. I look at this one. 2-0 Sunderland for you. I've gone for a 1-0.
Yeah, damn straight.
Are you a black cat in disguise?
I think I saw nothing from Burnley. Absolutely nothing. Sunderland looked great.
They weren't great, were they? Parker spoke about how impressed he was with them at the end of it.
And there's going to be a lot of people playing Dubravka and East Eve this week as well. So Electronic Steve
please use his real name. Yep.
Electronic Steve is going to be suffering from a power cut in this one.
Because he's got triple. That's
because he's got to bench all his Spurs, exactly. So no, I thought Sunderland were going to do all right this year. They obviously did well in the first game against Burnley. Yeah, I think Sunderland are going to nick this one.
Yep. We'll do a bit of a Q&A at the end of this stream, by the way. So if you do have any questions for us, get them in, and I will pin them, and then we'll come back to those at the end. Give you a bit of time to think of questions for Andy and I. Arsenal Leeds, both gone for a 2-0. Yeah. Havertz out. Gyökeres looked pretty good now, didn't he? He was poor, though. Bloody hell, against United.
I don't think he was poor. I think he
didn't get the job. Well, he didn't get the service, right? Yeah. That's the problem with Arsenal. You could say
they don't know how to play and help him to play to their system at the moment, basically. And they're not a good transition team. They're not a good counter-attacking team, and they kept trying to do it against United, and they just didn't know where to go half the time. So it'd be interesting to see how he beds in. But Leeds look good. I mean, Everton looked poor, but Leeds looked very, very good against them. But whether Leeds are going to be able to do that away from home against Arsenal is a different story. So it's exactly the same as what I've done with City there. I think it's just going to be a professional 2-0 home win. Sounds about right.
I was impressed with Leeds. I thought Everton were woeful, like beyond woeful. This is what always happens, though. They have 6 weeks of looking like they're going to get relegated. And then they just start grinding the 1-0s out. Yeah, everyone will go, oh, there it is again.
And that's when you own Pickford.
Yes, when you own Pickford, exactly. The problem with Leeds is who's going to put the ball in the net. Calvert-Lewin, Neptune and Perrault, it's not a great trio. I don't think any are really trusted.
Noah Okafor, isn't it? Whatever his name is. They've just signed him as well. Yeah.
It's a lot of people coming in to fill one spot and none of them really stand out, but they need to get that sorted quickly because they're going to need to get some goals. Palace Forest, I've gone for a 0-0, which having looked at your team would really bloody suit you. You've gone for a 1-1, which I'm guessing you don't think you're going to get exactly what you want.
Palace at home. I mean, Eze might be gone, might play. I mean, they've been pretty professional in terms of playing, haven't they? Palace at home, I'd always back them to score. So, yeah, I think 1-0. I'm, at the moment, thinking about playing Dubravka over Sells because there is a chance Burnley keeps Sunderland out, whereas I just feel like Palace will score every game they're at home at the moment.
It's got to be the Garden Centre game, though, isn't it?
No.
Palace Forest? Well,
dunno.
where else would you put it? I mean, it's
Everton,
Sunday,
Brighton?
2:00. I suppose, is that on TV?
Oh, I don't know actually which one of them is on TV. They're both on Sunday at 2:00.
Let's have a look. Okay, whichever one of those is on TV, I'll give it to you. They both are. They both are.
Oh.
I think
That
Palace
doesn't help.
Forest.
Let the chat decide.
Okay, let us know. I think Palace Forest. You think Everton Brighton? Oh God, that Brighton game was just so painful.
Muniz.
So painful. You knew it was coming. Like we had chances, we just couldn't put the game to bed. Fulham started really, really well, and then we just grew into the game. I thought we played really. I thought we were excellent for so many parts of the match. We just couldn't put the ball in the net. Ruter's run into the box, winning the penalty was great. O'Reilly put in a couple of good balls. It's just you just knew it though. You got to that 95th minute and they just started attacking, and you just thought, that's it. So frustrating being a Brighton fan sometimes. I think we win this though. You've gone for a 1-1, but I think we win this. I've gone for a 2-1.
Do you?
Yeah.
Interesting. All right.
I just think we're a better team. Like we should be winning it. Like,
when has that ever mattered with Brighton?
Well, that's a good point. It's
When
exactly
you're
the sort of
better
game we should
team,
win.
You don't win, exactly.
I know. I think we're stronger in pretty much every position. Who did we take from maybe Tarkowski and Pickford, maybe? But
you've literally got generational players in every position.
Exactly.
I don't know how you don't beat Everton.
We got so many generational players. We can send some off to Spain, and it doesn't even affect us.
Talking about Everton, by the way, watching Grealish play for him, there was one point where he dribbled past like 3 players, put a cross in the box, and it just bounced off Beto's shin. And you just thought, he's just gone from crossing balls in for Haaland to Beto, and you just the look on his face was like, oh God.
Well, to be fair, he's gone from never crossing the ball in because he
true,
hasn't been
that's
allowed
true,
to, just doing cutbacks. So at least he's now able to do that. But yeah, he's got no one to aim for.
Oh, bless him.
Did you see that Theo Walcott interview where the presenter said, if you told me when Jack Grealish signed for City that he'd be 29 and signing for Everton, I would just say, oh, what a disappointing career you've had. And Walcott's there, he goes, I signed for Everton when I was 29. And she's like, no, I didn't mean it. Which was good. Fulham United, I've gone for a 1-1. You've gone for a 2-1.
Yep. We need points in the next 2 games.
You
if we don't get points in the next 2 games, we could easily be on just like literally 1 or 2 points.
Well, this is what I was saying to you. This is what I was saying to you earlier. Like you've got, where are you? You're Man U.
About 5th, 6th down. Yeah,
so you've got Fulham and Burnley. So let's say you get a draw against Fulham and then you lose to Burnley.
No, stop it.
You're then playing City, Chelsea. You could conceivably lose both of those games as well. You could have 1 point after 6 weeks.
We have lost to Burnley. I can't remember what his name was now. The person that scored against us when we lost 1-0, but it was at Turf Moor. Robbie Blake.
Blake, yeah.
Yeah, so it has happened before, but yeah, we need to pick up points these next 2 games.
Yeah, and you think it will start with Fulham? Okay, good.
Yeah, I do. I think Cunha and Mbumo will do something, and people start jumping on Man United for game week 3.
And you're going to be watching Newcastle Liverpool from your sexy hotel bar or wherever you are.
Yes, I will.
Behind a chair, right? Because you won't
drinking
have
mojitos. Drinking mojitos. No, I won't have Salah, but I would be sitting pretty with 30 points from Palmer cap, so I'll be fine.
Okay, good. That's a very nice way of looking at it. We both gone for a 2-1 in that game. Someone asked earlier, are we tracking the scores? Of course we are. This is the leaderboard, and again, this is with all the patrons taking part. So you can see we've got quite a few playing this year. I'm currently tied with Luke. We both got 6 correct scores, which is good. 6 correct outcomes, which gives us 6 points. You get 1 point for an outcome and 3 points for a correct score. It's like a 2-1, something like that. Jobalob is first with a total score of 11. He got 7 out of the 10 right and 2 correct scores as well. So bloody hell, if he carries that on, he's going to be the one to beat.
Love the fact that Red Donkey Ham said, do you know what? I don't even need to enter 10 predictions. I'm just going to enter 9 and still be
9. It's going to be 9. What I really like is Caleb, who's not on this list, did 4. It's like he did 4 and got bored and went off the page.
Brilliant.
Yeah, fair play. Captaincy, we've touched on this a little bit. This is the new captain's graphic that I'm looking at. So looking at some of the likely captainers, looking at their XGI and their total points, looking at their team, the chances their team's creating, and looking at their opposition as well. It looks to me like Haaland is the best choice. from looking at this, given all these stats. But we are going off one week's worth of data. If you had him, would you captain him?
Yeah, I think if I had Haaland, I'd be on Haaland captain. I haven't really considered Salah, which is probably wrong, but I think it's between Haaland and Palmer. I think despite what we've seen from Palmer, he's still on pens, and it's still against a West Ham team that got kind of battered last week. So I think Palmer's still up there. If he doesn't do anything in this game, like you said, I think he's really got to be thought about as to whether he should be in our team. So it's a lot of money for someone that we're losing confidence with. But Palmer is also that person who can get you 4 goals in a game. Like, he literally can. So I think
Brian every week.
Yeah, I think it's Haaland's top for me, then Palmer, and then one of Saka and Salah, I think.
Salah?
Yeah, I know. It was Saka and Salah.
I would go Haaland first, then Saka, then Salah, then Palmer.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Watkins has got arguably the best fixture. I mean, playing Brentford, who were awful, really, in that first game, but it's hard to trust him, isn't it, given what we saw?
Yeah. Someone in the chat, by the way, I'll just bring it up, saying, was it Mikel says, I saw a stat where West Ham are the 3rd best XGC. Yeah, Sunderland, their XG from that game wasn't massive. So obviously that means that West Ham's XGC wasn't massive either.
I can show you that.
Yeah. But
yep, they were
just
5th.
It's just very West Ham-like, isn't it?
0.68, but concede 3 goals.
And Chelsea put up the 4th highest XG.
Yeah,
1.56, whatever it was. So yeah, no, actually that might be lower than that. But
yeah. I mean, Chelsea were 4th with 0.66 and conceded no goals. Fulham were worse and conceded 1 goal. Yeah, it was a crazy result for West Ham, but it won't matter because they'd have to be beating Sunderland. It's ridiculous.
We had a super chat come in, by the way.
Oh, lovely. Yeah, we'll take that.
OP Talent.
We will take that at the end. So yeah, that's our ratings anyway for those. In terms of the matrix, I was having a look at this earlier. I think Saka's a difficult captain given the fixtures are quite tough, which is why you might want to think about it in Game Week 2 or potentially Game Week 7 when he plays West Ham at home. Salah, I was looking at it, he's only really 4 and 5 out of the next 6 weeks, where I think he is a great option against Burnley and Everton. Newcastle, Arsenal, Palace, Chelsea, none of those are easy. Look at these games for Haaland. I mean, Spurs, Brighton, Manchester United, probably don't want to captain him in 5 against Arsenal, but then Burnley and Brentford. I mean, you could argue that he is stronger than Salah in 2 and 3 and 6 and 7, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you're just comparing it to Salah, yes. But you do have other players that I think are captainable, especially in 3. You've got Bruno's at home to Burnley. And obviously, if we're liking Cunha and Mbumo then as well, Palmer in 3 is fine as well, Fulham at home. But it's how, like I said, how long do we go with Palmer? How long do we go with him thinking he's captainable? If he blanks against West Ham, do you think, because you're not going to own Haaland in 3, do you think Palmer's going to be your captain in 3 if he blanks against West Ham? Well,
I was about to ask you the same question. I don't know. I don't know if I trust him. I wouldn't want to go Salah at home to Arsenal. I think I'd have to bring in a Man U player and captain them.
And then you bring in a United player and then they got City and Chelsea the next
I know. But that is what appeals to me potentially about Sesko if he gets up and running, is that if I like what I see against Fulham, not only could I be bringing him in Game Week 3, I could be captaining him as well, just to target that Burnley at home fixture, because I don't like those other fixtures.
There's no way you captain Sesko. No way you captain Sesko.
Well, I wouldn't captain Salah I wouldn't captain Salah. I won't own Haaland.
Yeah.
And if Palmer's blanked again against West Ham, I Fulham are a good side. I think Fernandes. I think Fernandes is the obvious captain in 3 if you've got him.
Which is why a lot of people. It's why a lot of people picked Bruno over Watkins. Yeah. And that's what I was thinking about for quite a while, is because I'm not captaining Watkins. In no way am I going to be captaining Watkins, unless he gets a pen and we now know he's on penalties. Even then, the fixtures, I don't think, until maybe Game Week 5 against Sunderland, but they look a little better than we thought. It's Bruno, though, that's captainable in Game Week 3. And I think that makes a big difference.
Well, the other player that's captainable went on this list is Chris Wood in Game Week 3, because he plays West Ham at home.
We're not liking West Ham, are we?
I mean, General was going to be hoping that that's the week where him going without Haaland and Salah really pays off, right? Because he needs a big haul from a differential captain, I think.
We've got to hope, even if Palmer doesn't return in Game Week 2, just for him to put up a bit more XGI, I think would help us ease a few fears going into Game Week 3, because Game Week 3 is Palmer for me.
Yeah. Oh, the other option is to sell Wirtz for Fernandes, for example,
Yeah.
in 3. I don't know. There's a lot can happen. This week is very much like settle, like assess, see what goes on.
Yeah.
Once 3 happens, I'm talking about Fernandes, I'm talking about Sesko, I'm talking about all kinds of mad things. So it's all gonna be different. Shout out to Robt, who we're going to mention on all these streams. He does some great odds. I think this is useful for anyone considering who to bench for players. They give Burnley a 32% chance of a clean sheet, which is pretty high, right? That's level with Bournemouth against Wolves. It's only just below Chelsea. 36% against West Ham, just below City at 34. I mean, Spurs, for example, 10% chance of a clean sheet. So it's low for them. I just don't know if I can bench Porro, who might be on like direct free kicks for Electronic Steve.
I know. And that's the thing, isn't it? Is do you bench him with someone like that? Or do you bench someone like a Sells, whatever, against?
Well, I think I am going
Dubravka?
Off the back of this, I think I am going to bench Sells for Dubravka. That's what these odds are telling me is the sensible play. To do.
I think that makes sense. I mean, I've said it already. I think Palace score, whereas you think it's going to be 0-0. So you're going to have Sells clean on your bench. But
that would be the inevitable Sells clean sheet when Dubravka concedes at the 5th minute to a Dingra. You just know it's going to happen.
The thing is as well, though. And this is where it's got to think a bit differently this year. Yes, it's Porro on set pieces, could be on direct free kicks, but he's playing against a team you're not expecting a clean sheet. So he's not going to be hitting DEFCON. From what we've seen so far, he's not like 8 Nori where he's going to be playing defensively. He is going to be attacking. Whereas Steve could get DEFCON. And he's on 4 points.
You never really know, though. Against City, you don't know what role Frank might set up. He might just set up I mean, he's done it before at Brentford, right? He set up low block teams just to try and counter it. If he does, then Porro could do well in that.
Talking about Electronic Steve, by the way, did you see the interview with him about FPL?
No.
Yeah, they said, have you seen that you're like one of the most owned players in FPL? He was like, what is FPL? And he was like, is that where how you do in real life is how you do in the game? And they're like, yeah. And he was like, oh, cool.
Did you know that they call you Electronic Steve on certain channels? I don't know whether
they said that. But no, I'm thinking about it and looking at it and thinking, well, Dubravka's different, obviously, because he's not going to get you any DEFCON. But if Steve gets you 2 extra points, if you said now Steve could get you 4, would you play Porro? You wouldn't, would you? You bench Porro.
Yeah, I think so, because Porro could end up with 0 or 1, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good move.
Yeah, I think I'm going to play Porro, though, and hope for DEFCONs in a slightly more defensive system, and I'm going to play Dubravka. I think, based on this stream and this data, that's what I think I'm going to do. Yeah. Robt also does some great stuff for the next 6. He's got Man City to score the most goals over the next 6. Again, that feeds into that Haaland narrative as well. Liverpool are second, Arsenal and Chelsea. These are a lot of players that we've already got. Down the bottom end, like West Ham. I mean, there's a lot of people out there with like Fulkrug and Bowen, who we haven't really spoken to. They've got to be on like high on people's sell list, right? Given they couldn't even get something against Sunderland. So, yeah, if they blank again against Chelsea, we're going to see mass sales, I think, for someone like Bowen, down to someone like Chris Wood. I mean, that'd be such an easy move, right? Bowen to Wood.
Yeah. And I think game week 1 is always very reactionary for transfers, but game week 2, we'll see a lot of those people that rolled or people trying to be patient. Game week 2 is when people start to go, no, he's gone. Can't go another week with this player in my team. And that's when you'll see an awful lot start to happen as well.
That's when the game opens up, Andy.
It is.
Captaining Sesko.
That's when doors open.
Exactly. And in terms of clean sheet projections, interestingly, Arsenal features so highly on this, given they've got a pretty rough set of games. Spread betting markets favour them highly in this. Villa 2, Conser, boring old Conser, getting his marching orders.
With a clean sheet, though.
With the clean sheet, yeah, he did all right in the end. City, Liverpool in the top 4 as well. The 3 promoted teams right down the bottom. So again, I still think they're the teams to target for these points where you can. And Gyökeres looks fun this week. If you've got him against Leeds, I think he's a perfectly acceptable captain option. Just hoping that he gets something given the other fixtures.
And Arsenal showed again just why they're always top of clean sheet predictions and stuff, because Gabriel and Saliba with Raya behind them they're just so ridiculously hard to play against, and they are genuinely the best centre back pairing in the world. They are absolutely ridiculous to try and play against. And if there's an easier fixture, and obviously you look at it here, you've got some teams that jump into 40s. You've got City in game week 6 that jump up to 53. But the fact Arsenal have 3 games where they're above, almost at 50%, almost a 50% chance of a clean sheet is massive. So they just are the best defence in the league, aren't they?
It's frustrating with Raya, isn't it? Because I mean, it's Groundhog Day. We saw it with Woods. We saw it with Raya. Raya got a massive haul game week 1 last time. I think we all avoided him because we didn't like the fixtures in those. And if he's going to then play Leeds and get a clean sheet in that, he's going to be on like 16, 17 points after 2 weeks. We weren't even really considering him, were we? Because we had the 5 million options. But yeah, if you've got him, you're going to be elated with that. This is how our teams look. Again, don't need too much here because they're the same. I've got Sells in goal with 8 Nori, Milenkovic, Porro. Salah captain, Palmer, Wirtz, Rutter, Reijnders, Watkins and Pedro. I think I'm going to do Dubravka in for Sells. I think you're probably right. I think it's a bit risky given Palace at home, and unless the Eze move's sorted, you expect he's going to play. I mean, benching poor old Steve. If he scores, he's going to be like a community legend, isn't he?
Not for us, because there's every opportunity we both bench him.
So yeah, nothing major planned for me. It's all going to happen next week. Your team that you sent me has Salah captain, which was why I was surprised when you mentioned Palmer. So you must have made that swap today, right?
That's my game week 1 team. That's why.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. I was looking at it thinking that's wrong.
I'm talking absolute nonsense.
You are.
Sorry, I haven't got it.
I mean,
it's basically the same, isn't it?
It's a good-looking team. No, I've got Dubravka in goal.
Oh my God, no, that's one from last.
No, I've got. I'm going to play Dubravka over
season.
Sells. I've then got Murillo. I'm playing 8 Nori, and I'm playing Richards, who's got Forest at home. So I'm going to play him because he's quite good for DEFCON. And then I've got Salah, Palmer captain, Reinders, Anderson, and Wirtz all playing with Pedro and Watkins up top. Steve, I don't think I'll be playing Steve. He's obviously got. It's whether I play him over Murillo, who
the sadness in your voice.
I know. It's whether I play him over Murillo, who I'm expecting to get DEFCON, Richards, who I'm expecting to get DEFCON, and 8 Nori, who's playing against Spurs, and I don't think I will. So, Steve.
There you go.
There you go. Look at that. And I remembered it all as well. But yeah, Palmer captain. I'm going to be on that. I just hate the fact that I'm on him captain and I got Pedro, and I'm not going to watch any of the game, and I'm not going to know the result until I land. But there you go.
Is that locked in? You're definitely going Palmer?
Yeah.
Fun. Cool. That's about it in terms of content. I said we'd take a few questions just before we finish, so we'll come back to here. Attaboy asked, do you start 2 Burnley defenders after that Sunderland 3-0 win? You have to ask Luke.
Yeah, if you have to, yeah. But I mean, it's not the worst. What was it, 35% chance, 32% chance? There are worse ways of doing a double up in defence.
I mean, I understand it if you've got 3 Spurs, but I don't think there's a lot of ways in which I would play 2 Burnley defenders otherwise, right?
Yeah.
Unless you've got no one else. Like if you've got like De Kuyper, I'd rather play him. If you've got double Forest defence, I'd play them. If I don't know, I can't see too many situations in which I would want to play both. But I mean, like you said, it's not the worst, but probably wouldn't want to do it. OP Talent, this was a very generous super chat. Thank you very much. Game week 1 went for Bruggen and Tosin, not Sanchez and Goodmanson. Ouch. Game week 2, hedge or bench Burnley. Play for Bruggen or Dubravka, and Porro or Steve. I definitely play Dubravka over Bruggen.
Yeah, I think
I just don't trust it. I don't like Verbruggen as an option at all.
Although it's Everton, but yeah. And then Porro or Steve. I'd
go Dubravka and Porro, personally.
Yeah, I think that's probably what I would do as well. I think Porro versus Steve is very different. I think Porro could still get an assist or something. Yeah, I think I'd probably go Porro.
Yeah. Go on, Porro. All the doubters benching him this week for Steve.
What do you reckon Steve's EO is going to be? What do you reckon his EO Steve's going to be?
His EO Steve, very good. What's his actual ownership?
I don't know. I'll have a look.
Have a guess.
Oh, I might have a guess, am I? God, he's only 4 mil and he's going to be quite highly owned. I reckon he's going to be around 22%.
And 19. Close.
Ooh, I wasn't too far off.
I thought it'd actually be a bit higher than that. But
yeah, I mean, his EO last week would have been like 2%. But
yeah.
This week it might go up to about 10 maybe.
I think he probably will. Yep. It might even be higher than that. I just saw a comment about KDH. Oh, from Attaboy. The alternative is KDH. Dewsbury Hall. That's not looking great, is it? For people who went there. I was going to do Dewsbury Hall instead of Reijnders. You see my tweet? Got 50% split vote. Reijnders or Dewsbury Hall.
Don't trust the public, mate. Never trust the public.
That is proof. that is absolutely proof. Sandri, chat any thought on my question? What is your question, Sandri? It's just you asking for people to answer it. I can't actually see it. If you post it again, I will take that one. I promise. What do you think of Stack at Leeds from Gameweek 3? Says Tom and Nielsen.
Yes. So he was great for DEFCON. And he was great for DEFCON before he entered the Premier League as well. And he got an assist, ended up with 8 points this week, didn't he? I don't think he's a bad shout. But the only thing I don't like about him is that there are really good, cheap midfielders we've got already. And unless you are having to move down to get up to someone like Haaland in a wild card or whatever it is, I don't really see why you'd be going for him at the moment. But he's definitely one to have in your eyes for a wild card potentially if you wanted to go for another cheap midfielder. But with Reijnders and Anderson already there, I think they're better picks, even though they're 0.5 more.
Yeah, I agree with all of that. Kieran, Saka triple captain as a bit of a punt. Thoughts?
I don't like it.
I think it's too early, isn't it? Like, you want to get a bit of form, I think, from these players.
We think Gyökeres might be on pens as well, which hurts Saka quite a bit. I don't like it. I think if you wanted to go for a risk, I'd go captain. I don't think there's going to be loads with him as captain.
Yeah,
I don't think he's not going to be that highly owned at all. So you're going to benefit from probably 180% of his points. So I don't think that's a bad move.
Yep, I agree. Final question before we finish. A good one, AT17. What's your hot take for FPL? Mine is Lacroix will be the highest scoring defender by the end of the season.
Don't know. Have you got one? Because I haven't got one at the moment.
I think mine is that we're all gonna be playing 4 at the back.
Yeah.
From about halfway through the season till the end, we're all gonna switch to 4 at the back. When we realise how many points these guys are getting from DEFCON, and you've got the attacking potential too. It's the fact that defenders are playing in multiple roles and can earn points in different ways now, which isn't really something I never considered that Eight Nori might get DEFCON points. That was never something I thought about. So the fact he can do that just I think improves players like that going forward.
I think my hot take is that we're going to finish the season, and everybody's going to say that this was the best FPL season that we've had in a very, very long time.
Okay, no, that's fine.
Because
look at you. You're such a little
I feel like
charmer.
apart from the website being an absolute nightmare, I think everything else. I think everything else has been extremely good in terms of things they brought in this year. And I think we're going to look back with AFCON, with those 5 free transfers, with using. I absolutely love the fact people are using chips in different weeks. Well, I cannot remember a time this has ever happened where genuinely people are like, I'm using free hit in game week 2. I'm using it in
Saka
3.
triple captain Leeds.
I know. And we can't say that's the wrong way to do it. It is. I think this is going to be the best and most exciting season we've had in, 10 years.
Amazing. Well, what a lovely note to end the stream on. And I'm looking forward to next week because it sounds like we're going to be arguing about what players we're going to be bringing in ahead of the Game Week 3.
No, we won't.
Sandri said she's written the question in. Where is it? Am I being blind? I cannot see Sandri's question. I can see Greg and I can see as I wrote the question again. I can't see any other question from Sandri.
No idea. I can't see it. Oh, it's no.
No, sorry, Sandri. If you write it on the comments, we'll answer it. Andy, great stuff as always. Thank you very much. Enjoy your holiday. Luke and I will be back next week.
Yep, you will indeed. No, I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to be watching you guys, sipping a mojito, obviously thinking about But yeah, thank you very much.
With your Palmer 1-pointer.
Yeah. Oh God, 1 point as captain.
Oh dear. Yeah. Excellent stuff. We had about just under 1,000 people watching, so thank you all for tuning in. If you're watching and catching up, do like the stream. Make sure you subscribe to BlackBox. If you're listening on the pod, do give us a review. We really appreciate all those, and we will see you all next week.
Bye.